Effects: Tint, Offset, Transform. So, we continue to analyze the effects that we have. The next folder that we can face is color correction. Here I can mention such a wonderful thing as tint. But the point is that here it turns into a black and white picture. We can assign black and white to any colors. For example, we assign black to white and white to black. We will get a negative picture. Let's say we can assign black to blue and white to red. It's very convenient to use the repainting any fields, titles, etc. It can act as an artistic element within the video and as another case when we need to tint something in the right color. Next, we consider the distort folder, and here there are many useful functions. For example, it's corner pin. This function is without hardware acceleration, but nevertheless, it's a tool that can and should be used. When we activate it, we have the ability to move the corners of the video frame on the program panel in any way, which allows us to create the illusion of space. For example, when we need to insert a video into a TV in a static frame, this tool will be able to do it without any difficulties. Or for example, we can put such a video in a billboard, adjusting for angles. But only in a static frame, because we don't have tracking here. It's an easy 3D simulation that can sometimes help us. Here we have lens distortion that helps in controlling or creating the illusion of curvature. We can create the illusion of a wide angle camera or a fisheye effect. For example, we shot everything on a wide angle camera and we need to straighten the curvature or the lens on a GoPro or another camera that breaks the edges. In this case, this tool will save us. Magnify is a useful function. Mirror allows us to make a mirror image in the frame. To draw an imaginary axis from which everything will be reflected. Accordingly, it can be animated and used as an effect. Offset is a very useful feature that we will definitely use. It rewinds the video. We can make an animation of a following plan. We set the point shift center to, then change the value to 7 turns. It's 7000 and set the second point. In addition, we make the end point with a soft input, temporary interpolation, is in and pull the tendril. Let's remember about the adjustment layer. We can make a transition out of this. So we transfer the created functions to the adjustment layer, which will move all the displays of clips. Then we set the start point with a soft input, change the shift center value by 3 or 4 turns, and create the end point with a soft input. And finally, we pull out the tendrils. In order to develop this idea, let's edit a fast blur effect. Let's edit a fast blur effect and simulate motion blur. Our picture is moving, but it's still quite clear. Then we insert 3 points of blurriness on the same adjustment layer. First and third points are with a value of 0, and the central point is with a value of 140. Select Blur Dimensions Horizontal and enable the Repeat Each Pixels checkbox. In this folder, we need to consider such an effect as Transform. If we look at this effect, it will have the same settings as Motion. Here there are also the parameters: Position, Anchor Point, Scale, Skew, Opacity and Shutter Angle. Let's look at the shutter angle in more detail. For example, we create a title that has its own transform parameter that allows it to fly out, but it doesn't have one little secret. So let's edit the transform effect that has shutter angle and the use composition shutter angle checkbox. These parameters allow us to create a motion blur effect inside the clip. If we make the title appearance the emotion or transform built into the title, then it will appear not blurred and with the same clarity on the entire track. Even if we added speed to it, it will remain as clear as ever. Of course, it doesn't happen in life. It's not familiar to the human eye, but the same motion blur allows you to create the appearance they are transformed that I am talking about. So we create 2 points on the position parameter in Transform. And we disable the Use Composition Shutter Angle checkbox and raise the shutter angle parameter. We will get a blur. The higher the speed, the higher the blur. And this parameter gives a beautiful real motion blur. Here we can choose sampling, bicubic or bilinear, but they are not very different. But the principle is that the movement gives a blur. This is the first feature of the transform effect. The second feature is that if we want, for example, to decrease or increase the clips that are under the adjustment layer, then we use the scale parameter in motion and get the following. Adjustment layer itself is decreased and the zone that it affects is decreased too. But we need to do the opposite, to decrease everything under this layer. And this is exactly what the transform effect works for. If we decrease the scale here, then the whole construction will decrease. Sometimes it's useful. Here we can additionally make an effect. For example, we fix the scale at the beginning and at the end with a value of 100 and create 2 points between them with a reduced value of 80. We have got a double effect. Firstly, our video was decreased, then rewound, and in the end returned to its original place in the end. Let's make the effect smoother by adding is in to the first point in the middle, is out to the second point and pulling out the tendrils. Here we also added a shutter angle, for example 240. So we have made the transitions from 3 effects, from offset, fast blur and transform. It turned out pretty good, but it would be possible to blur the edges further. We can save all that in one preset and use this transition in any next projects.